गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे into the fifth section and of the second chapter, the inner soul immanent yet transcendent. Panchami Valli. Puramekadashadvaram ajasyavakrachetasah anusthayana shochati vimuktascha vimuchyate. Etadvaitata, this is that. What is this now he is talking about? He is talking about Puram Ekadashadvaram, the city of 11 gates. So, this body of 11 gates is indeed of the unborn mind, unborn, even-minded self. Having meditated upon this, the seeker grieves not, and the liberated one is ever liberated indeed. This is verily that. What is this Puram Ekadashadvaram? It is the city of 11 gates. And here, this, see, there is one beautiful story also which comes in Bhagavad Mahapuran. You were there when we took that story? No. There are two friends going around in the sky. One's name is Unknown and the other's name is Puranjan. And well, both of them are going around in the chariot. They are always free, never hungry, never thirsty, always content, enjoying each other's company. And one day while they were going, for some reason, this fellow, Puranjan, he gets an idea that as he was passing by over the earth, so he got a desire, I want to go down. I want to see the world. So they went over earth from all different parts, then they went over Himalayas. And from the Himalayas, as they were passing by in their UFO, they looked down. He looked down and he looked at a beautiful city with 11 gates. There it is 9 gates. 9 gates. And then he was looking, he says, what a wonderful city, so very nice gardens, so many nice rivers, so many nice ponds, rivulets, fountains, wow! And all the gates, and then suddenly he saw a great 5-hooded snake coming out of the palace. Palace also nice, beautiful. And as the snake came out, immediately behind him, he saw a beautiful 16-year-old, 17-year-old girl nicely walking behind him. And behind her, there is 11 bodyguards. And they are walking. And as he was looking, he looked down, she looked up, and then you know what happened. He came down and his friend Avijñata is telling him, please don't go, you will get stuck. No, I think she loves me. And he asks her, she says, who will not like to marry someone like you? Who will not like to have a partner like you? And this fellow gets besotted and jumps down from the chariot and goes into the city and starts living with that girl. And as he is living with that girl, he is so madly in love with her that if she is sitting, he sits. If she is walking, he walks. If she is sleeping, he sleeps. If she is eating, he eats. If she is blinking her eyes, he blinks his eyes. If she smiles, he smiles. If she is sad, he is sad. So much identification, so much love. And one day, and she had told that you will also remain youthful, I will also remain youthful as long as you remain inside this city. If you leave this city, I cannot guarantee anything. The moment you leave this city, and there is a chance that other forces might come into the city to attack. But the moment city gets open, this youth that you are seeing will not be possible. I'll start getting old. But man as he is, adventurous, curious. So it was 9 gates, and still she's telling me not to go. What is outside this gate? What is outside this gate? What? He wants to go and explore. And he says, all that is fine. I am going. First few years go where he is totally identified. But even though he loves her very much, but still the urge to go and find out. When she is sleeping, he quickly gets up and goes out of the gates of the city. Does hunting here and there, and then comes back. Then slowly he got confidence. Outside there is such a fantastic world. There is such a huge world outside. So many birds, so many mountains, and so many more things than what we have in the city. And she is telling me, maybe she doesn't want me to share me with anyone else. But there is no one. But there is so much beauty. Hey, Puranjani, you also come with me. I'll tell you. No, I'm not coming. I'm not supposed to go outside the city. And he keeps going. After first time, then the second time, then the third time, slowly his confidence also increases. And he goes further and further and further and further. And one day when he has gone for quite far away, slowly the soldiers of time, they enter into the city and start ransacking the city. And when he comes back, he finds that the guards are dead, the five-hooded snake is very weak, is not able to protect the girl. The soldiers, the 11 soldiers at the back, they were not able to support, provide security to her, and they are getting tired and no energy in them. And then he will ask, Puranjani, where are you, Puranjani? And he looks around everywhere and eventually finds her in one room, and the moment, and she is down like this with a shawl over her head and just lying down. He says, Puranjani. And he sees one old lady lying there, almost dying. She says, Puranjani, where are you? Have you seen Puranjani? She says, I am Puranjani. He says, I left you like you never age. And I have just gone for a few minutes, few hours, and you have become so old. She says, I told you, if you go out, this is what will happen. And in the pain of separation, and eventually she dies. And in the pain of separation, that, oh my God, my Puranjani, and he died. He leaves the body. He leaves the, the palace. And from there he moves and he gets, he goes to another kingdom and finds himself in a body of a young girl, young baby girl. And that baby girl slowly becomes grown up and eventually gets married, and eventually as she grows up, the husband dies and the children die away, and then she's saying, what's the point of having this life, and this, a bit sad. At that time, a great messenger of the Lord comes. Not messenger of the Lord comes. As she is thinking, I'm getting mixed up. She is thinking, what is this? Why is this happening to me? I can't understand, and this and that. There must be a reason why all this is happening. And at that moment, remember the Puranjan's friend, Avigyat, who was in the UFO with him? He comes in a form of a sadhu, a sannyasi. He says, oh lady, don't you remember me? No, I don't remember you. No, think. And naturally when a sadhu comes, people touch their feet or get their blessings. When she says, no, I don't, when she bows down for blessing, he touches her head and immediately she remembers the whole story. And how she got attached to that young girl in the city and of the 9 gates, and how attached she was, and eventually for whatever reasons that the girl died in the old age, and this fellow was born here because of the last impressions. And then here also, as all the animals and this and that he had killed, they had come back and killed all his family, all her family now. And eventually when there was no one, now she was nonplussed. Now what to do? At that time again the help came, and Avigyata, when he touched her head, so as soon as she remembered who she was essentially, immediately she merged back with the Avigyata, and they went away in the flying saucer. Nice story, no? Same is here. That city of 9 gates is mentioned here as city of 11 gates. There are 7 gates in the head. Which are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 3 in the trunk. The navel, the genital organ and the anus. So 7 plus 3, how many? 10. And which is the 11th one? That is the top part, where when the child is born, the bone is not there. That part. So that there are 11 holes. This is the city of 11 gates. And in that story, what happens is that the consciousness, one is called the unknown, the other is called Puranjan, the one who is attached. Both are brothers, both are like this. But for some reason, this fellow, Puranjan, looks at the girl, looks at the city, gets attracted. And when he gets attracted, he's meaning the consciousness getting identified with the body is called the Puranjan. And as long as all the gates are controlled, meaning all the vitalities within you are under your control and harnessed and directed for a higher, then till then this body will, for a long time it will live. It will not break down that easily. The only reason it becomes weaker and weaker and weaker is because the vitalities are lost. And then he started going out, Puranjan, from the city. He wanted to explore. We also do that. We are not happy. Now tomorrow we want to go to Marysville. We are not happy here. We want to go, explore, do something different. Same way, the eyes want to go somewhere, the ears want to go somewhere, listen to the sounds, the tongue wants to taste. So this fellow, this consciousness within, through these 11 gates, is continuously wanting to go out. It's not happy inside. And the more it goes out, the more it gets troubled, and the more it gets stressed, and the more it eventually gets disease, decay and death. And the more so now you see, birth, growth, this is fine. But disease, decay and death is because you are continuously going out of this city. And the moment you go out of the city, the time virus enters through the gates and starts devouring you from inside. So in this manner, eventually the city and that girl, the 5, I'll explain to you as we go along. That girl is the intellect, and that intellect is very, very young. So whatever intellect says, the consciousness also does. So that's the idea that is presented here, the picture that is presented. So here the same idea is given, that the comparison of the body with the city is given, and the various gates, the gatekeepers and the controllers, the palace. And here, instead of that lady, which is the intellect, here it is being told in this first verse that there is no point having a palace in the city without a king. So there is a king. And who is that king? That king is the conscious principle, the consciousness. And when the king decides, it is his palace, when he wants to come in, he will come, when he wants to go, he will go, isn't it? So when he decides to leave the palace, why? Arey yaar, this palace has become old now, I have built a new palace and I am going there. For example, in Mahabharata, when Yudhishthir was staying in Hastinapur along with the baddie Duryodhan, and eventually after he had won quite a few wars, and then he was told, the blind king gave him, okay, I give you that Indraprasth. It was a dilapidated country across the river, no trees, only trees, mountains, rocks, no plain land, nothing irrigable. And he gave it to him and he accepted it. And Krishna, Arjuna and the 5 brothers, they all went there, and within 1 year, 1 or 2 years, they transformed that land into the most beautiful city. Now, the baddie fellow on the other side of the river, their cousin brother, he said, oh, we gave them the worst of the land and they converted it into such a fantastic, I wish I had that type of palace. And when they made that palace and they built that city, because people loved Yudhishthira, the eldest of the 5 brothers, and they wanted him to be the next king. But the blind king said, no, my son wants to be the king. And they said no. And when Yudhishthira created this new city, all the artisans, all the plumbers, all the carpenters, all the grocers, and everyone wanted to go to, with Yudhishthira. So then Duryodhan became angry. So Yudhishthira he says, see, I don't want everyone to come with me. Those who have gone to my city already, they can stay there, and the rest, you please continue living here along with him. But if you really want to come, then you let them know and you come that side. Everyone wanted to go with the righteous prince to his city. So wherever the king goes, if he is a loved king, everyone will follow him. Then who will live in the city? A house which is not rented or not lived in, it becomes a dungeon, isn't it? It starts breaking down. You need people to live in there. Otherwise all the hot water system will start breaking down, the kitchen sink will start getting blocked, and the gas stove will not work. Why? Because it's not being used. So here in this verse, in the first verse, it is being told that having meditated upon this, upon what? Upon this story, this parable of the city of 11 gates, in which or palace of 11 gates, in which there is a king, and that king is the conscious principle. When he leaves, all the guards and everyone want to go with him, and the palace is left bare. Similarly, when the body dies, when the king, the consciousness, leaves the body, along with him, everything, all the faculties, all the guards who are the devatas, the presiding deities behind the power because of which we are able to see, the power because of which we are able to smell and taste and hear and feel. All these demigods or devatas, can't say demigod, devatas, the effulgent ones, they all go along with their master. So the one who meditates, and so when you meditate on this king, then you have come to know that this is that reality. The Lord Death tells the Nachiketa. When you meditate, yesterday, I'll show it to you afterwards. Yesterday we were doing the exam. We are seeing the example Angushtha Matra, that the reality is expressing as a flame in the heart. I've got 3 photographs. It's on my laptop, the screensaver. All the different masters keep going one by one by one by. It automatically goes on. So in that there are 3 photographs of Jesus. And in that Jesus, in the center of his heart, in that picture, I was thinking, so there is a heart shape, or there is like a strawberry, and on top of the strawberry, this flame is there. Exactly the way we were saying, that's given in that picture. I'll show it to you afterwards. Amazing. So, such a person who contemplates on this Lord of this city, this is the city, the body, in the heart, such a person goes beyond all grief and sorrow and fear, and eventually gets liberated and is not born again and again. This is that reality. This way the Guru Maharaj tells the disciple. Hansa Shuchishad Vasuranta Rikshasada. Hansa Shuchishad Vasuranta Rikshasada. Hota Vedishad Atithir Durona Sata. Nrushad Varasad Rutasad Vyomasada. Abja Goja Rutaja Adrija Rutam Bruhata. Here again, as Hamsa, here the Hamsa means here the sun. Hamsa, another meaning of Hamsa is the crane. Here it means the sun. The sun, he dwells in heaven. As air, Vayu, he dwells in the sky. As fire, he dwells on the sacrificial altar or on earth. As guest, he dwells in a house. He dwells in man, in the gods, in the sacrifice, truth, in the sky. He is born in the water, he is born on the earth, he is born in the sacrifice, he is born on the mountains, and he is the true and the great. So this Purusha, this conscious principle which we are told in the previous verse, and in the previous chapter we are told, contemplate on him as in the thumb-sized space of your heart as a flame and without smoke. That same Purusha, that same conscious principle is explained here as residing in the human body that was told in the first verse, and the one who presides over all the functions of our body. And this way, here he says, he dwells in the heaven. The same conscious principle is the consciousness expressing through all the beings in the heavens. As Vayu, he dwells in the sky. That same conscious principle is making the air go round and round around the earth. As fire, he dwells on the sacrificial altar on earth. As fire, either you can say the fire inside the earth, which is continuously burning, the molten lava, as that, or as because without that fire, earth cannot be what it is today. That fire inside the womb of the earth is what is allowing all the species to survive, the heat, the warmth that we have. And or the other meaning is that you can have the sacrifice, fire sacrifice, and that fire sacrifice is also nothing but that conscious principle which we have seen before. He dwells in man. So the same conscious principle is expressing through man. The same Purusha is expressing through man. He is expressing through the gods. He is expressing through the sacrifice. He is expressing as the truth, and he is expressing in the sky. Meaning, because of him, all of them are. Without him, they cannot express themselves. Nothing in this creation has an independent existence apart from the conscious principle. And therefore, because he is everywhere, then what are his manifestations? So here it is told, Abja, Goja, Rutaja, Adrija, Rutam Bahata. So till Abja, Goja, Rutaja, Adrija. 4 types of creation given, usually 3 are given. The 4th is, so first is Abja. Abja is those species which are born in water. And who are they? They are the crustaceans and the pearls and the fish and all those things which have a shell, and from that they come. All the water-born animals or insects. That's one type of species. The other is Goja, born on the earth. And what is born on the earth? All the plants, the fruits, the grains, the rice, the wheat, etc., etc., etc. That is Goja. Adrija is the born of the mountains. What are born from the mountains? The rivers, the springs, the waterfalls, the rivulets, the creeks. All this is born from the mountains. And this way, and then from one more is given, Rutaja. Rutaja is born in the sacrifice. What is born from the sacrifice? When we do the sacrifices, we attain to higher world, we can attain to the infinite, isn't it? So that is again all the higher world where the gods abide, all that is, that creation is also pervaded by the conscious principle. And in this manner, the first it was told that this conscious principle Purusha is the one who is the owner of this body, and now it is being told that it is because of him or for him that all the various in the previous verse it was told, for him all the faculties are functioning for him, they don't have independent existence. And now it is told that not only in the body but everywhere in this creation that you see or you don't see, he alone is expressing. And then the examples were given of Abja, Goja and Adruja, the different types of creation. Now, Urdhvam pranam unnayati apanam pratyagasyati madhye vamanamasinam vishve deva upasate. And then continuing that thought, that same conscious principle, he, the supreme reality, then the word was Rutam Bahata. Rutam Bahata, he is this one because of whom the whole creation is, without whom the creation cannot exist. The one who is permeating the whole creation, the one who is the conscious principle behind the whole creation, expressing through the whole creation. He is the truth. He is true, meaning he is the truth, and he is the greatest. There is nothing else greater than him. Recognize. This is, here it is not written this is that, but he is building it up to something. Now, in the third verse, he says, he, that conscious principle, that reality, sends the prana upwards and throws the apana downwards. All the devas worship that adorable one seated in the center. Means what? That this reality is the one who's maintaining, just like we saw in the previous verse, that he, because of him, the air on the planet moves around, so also the air within us moves around because of him. He controls, directs, manipulates the different airs within our body. And what are those airs? The word prana. Prana means not the airs, but that which nourishes you. But that which nourishes you is we understand it as breath. And that breath that we take in, the nourishment that comes with the breath within, immediately gets divided into 5 different parts. And those 5 are Pran, Apan, Vyan, Udan, Saman. So what is Pran? Pran is that nourishment which is going in the air. As you breathe in, it goes into the lungs and provides oxygen and makes you live. Pran, Apan. Apan is that air which when it goes from within, which is helping you to evacuate things. So either your urine or your fecal matter. That is because of the apan. The downward movement of the air is apan. The upward movement of the air is pran. Then the third pran, apan, vyan. Vyan is that air which is helping the blood to reach different parts of the body. Pran, apan, vyan, udan. Udan is that air which helps things to move upwards. So, I've given you example before, like when you sneeze, when you cough, even when you are speaking, when you speak, you feel that the energy is coming up, isn't it? So, all this is because of the udan. And when udan energy, this udan vayu, if controlled, if harnessed and allowed to develop, and when it reaches the top, it is the one which is helpful in making you become intelligent and eventually realize. With others, they are just maintaining the body, but Udan Vayu has the intelligence in it. It helps you to gain intelligence. So we must cultivate it. And then the last is Samana. Samana is that air which helps in digesting the food. So breath is one, but the moment it goes in, it gets bifurcated into 5 different functions, and these 5 functions we have told you. So, because of whom these 5 are functioning, it is because of the reality. If that reality was not there, that conscious principle was not there, then these 5 would not function. And we see that when the person is dead, we say, you don't see a dead person breathing. So where have all those 5 faculties gone, functions gone? They have gone along with the consciousness. They have followed him. So who are it's written, all devas worship. Who are the devas? Productive potentials, the presiding deities behind all the senses. All these senses are worshipping who? Not the prana. They are worshipping the conscious principle. And that conscious principle is expressing as the breath in the body, the various breaths, and because of them, these 5 senses or the various deities are able to do their jobs. If you stop the breath, these deities will all scream. Eyes are screaming, ears are screaming, mouth is screaming, tongue is screaming, nose is screaming, as if everything is getting pulled in. So, here it says, sends the prana upwards and throws the apana downwards. All the devas worship that adorable one seated in the center. So, just like when a king comes into a courtroom or the prime minister comes to the parliament, everyone stands up. Maybe not for the prime minister, maybe the speaker. For speaker, everyone stands up. Or for a judge, when you go to a court, everyone stands up. And when the prime minister is there, or the judge is there, or the king is there, he doesn't have to tell everyone what to do. Automatically everything starts happening. When he is not there, everyone is lazy. But the moment he comes, immediately everything starts falling in place. Everyone is conscientious and doing their job. Oh, why the king is going to pass through here? Or he might call me. So everyone is alert. And same thing here, that when the conscious principle is expressing within the body, in the center of our heart, all the various functions in the body are doing their optimum as long as he is there. So how do you make your body to function in the optimum? Contemplate on the center. Automatically it will happen. But understand this, that everything is for that conscious principle. And in this way, again, the lower aspect, first the body was told, then the outer creation was told. Now that within the body the pranas are, and those pranas are also functioning because of him alone, and if you know him, this is that. But it is not told here. In the next verse it will come. Asya vistransamanasya sharirasthasya dehinaha dehad vimuchyamanasya kimatra parishishyate etadvaitata. When this Atman who dwells in the body is separated from the body, he is freed from this body, what remains here in this body, this verily is that. Now very, very important. The important point is that when this consciousness decides to leave the body, because matter cannot remain permanently. Matter is at the mercy of time. And as long, if that matter is there, one day it will be not there also. And when it starts deteriorating, then the king says, or this conscious principle says, that it's time to take leave from here and find a new abode. Just like, so he plans to leave. The moment he plans to leave, so if from the body something has left, we say that consciousness has left the body, isn't it? So here it is being told that what has left is consciousness, and what is left behind is also consciousness. What is left behind is also the same reality. How it is the same reality? Thinko, yeah, thinko.
Because there's no separation.
But how there is no separation? If there is no separation, why it has to leave then? You're getting what you're saying? That consciousness leaves the body. When consciousness leaves the body, we say consciousness has left. The verse is saying that which has left the body is consciousness, and what is left behind is also consciousness.
But even though the body's going to disintegrate, it's still life.
Is it?
Fall,
Is it?
Well, it goes into the earth and...
It's not life. Life is only in consciousness, not in matter. So how? How come they are saying it is what is left behind is also? You are on the right track, but you didn't complete the thought.
Just trying to think it through then further.
Everything is consciousness.
I?
No duality, so...
Yeah, but if there is no duality, we won't have this dialogue, no? When the dialogue is, the verse is saying that which left the body is consciousness, and what is left behind is also consciousness, which means in this duality we have to catch the reality. That is, it is trying to train our thinking so that we catch reality everywhere. In the previous verse, it told that everything inside is functioning because of the reality. You cannot say the digestion is reality and pancreas is reality. No. But we can say because of that conscious principle, that intelligent principle, that all the various organs function. Without him, they cannot function. So that intelligent function, when it leaves the body, it is called death. Agree? So now they are saying what leaves is that intelligent principle, the reality, and what is left behind is also reality. Now my question is, why they are saying that what is left behind is reality? Can body be called a reality? Then why are they saying it? Because the moment body dies, the body, out of the body, what is happening? The fire is going back to the fire principle, the air is going back to the total airs, the earth is going back to that is the solid mass, it will eventually disintegrate and become one with the earth. The space which the body was occupying, that will go back to space. Everything goes back to its own source. So what is left behind? Nothing. And all these, so our attention is on this form, but essentially they are the 5 principles. And we saw in the previous chapter that all the space, air, fire, water, earth cannot be without consciousness. If consciousness is not there, these fellows cannot function themselves. They cannot exist also. So just an interplay, intermixture, admixture of the space, air, fire, water, earth has brought about a form called body. Another form called tree, another form called animal, etc., etc., etc. And there is no place where consciousness is not. So, when we have this vision, therefore, I think in all cultures, when someone dies, we do not disrespect that dead body, isn't it? We offer it, either we bury it. Why do we bury it? That one day it will stand up again. Why do we burn it? But when we bury it, because in our culture, fire, we saw that before, that fire is reality, isn't it? So we offer it to the fire so that that body also goes back to reality. But with proper mantras. So, when this Atman who dwells in the body is separated from the body, he is freed from the body. What remains here is this, in this body, this verily is that. So when the Atman departs from body, all the activities of that physical body seem to depart with the reality. Now here, the reality that they are talking about, when they say the Atman could be the condition, because that which is expressing through this body is at the present. When we say something is leaving, it has to be the conditioned one. Provided that person has meditated and realized his essential self, whether it is a sage or a saint or a great master, when he dies, something leaves. You cannot say, oh, infinite is everywhere, so it will never die. That master will never die. That master's body will disintegrate one day. And when that body dies, that master whom we know as master will no longer be. Why? Something has left the body. And what has left that body is this conscious principle. And what is left behind is also the conscious principle. Recognizing, so the Lord of Death is telling the Nachiketa, this is that. Kimatra parishishyate, means what remains then? When the Atman has departed from the body, what remains in the body? With this question, the scripture tells us that there remains practically nothing upon which we may glorify the empty shell, the dead body. That which is left behind is the reality. Because space, air, fire, water, earth, they will go back to themselves. So what is left behind? Only reality. न प्राणेन पानेन मर्त्यो जीवति कश्चन इतरेण तु जीवन्ति यस्मिन्नेतावुपाश्रितौ. Not by prana, not by apana does any mortal live. What happened?
We're a little bit cold. It's very cold. I'll just
It's closed.
just a bit. Is it that? Is that just once? Sorry about that.
You will not get cold more if you open the window?
They're just wide open. We're in a cross breeze and we're cold.
Okay.
Joyce got a cold. It's alright.
Okay.
Just the window. It's okay. Sorry, it distracts you.
Not by prana, not by apana does any mortal live, but it is by some other on which these two depend that men live. So when we read this, see, in one of the verses it came that the reality sends the prana upwards and the apana downwards. When we meditate on that from the center the prana is going up and apana is going down, a point comes when you contemplate on that neither the prana goes up, neither the apana goes up. It stays in equilibrium. And when it stays in equilibrium, at that time, samadhi happens, meditation happens. At that time, you can stay like that for years without breathing. And there are written confirmations of people who have lived like that for many, many years. That's one. But here what is being told is just like we go into a house. Why do we build a house? Just like that? No, we build a house to live in it, isn't it? It is not built just for the sake. So even if a builder is building, he builds the house, he wants to sell it quickly. Otherwise he knows if he doesn't sell it for 1 or 2 years, it will get dilapidated. It will get dirty. Someone must go and stay in there. So if we have built our house and all the different parts of the house that are built are put together is called a house. Can you just call the walls a meditation room? Can you just have a roof and say it is a meditation room? Can you just have windows and say it is a meditation room? No, no. You have to have all the different parts in this building in order to call it a meditation room. Similarly, all the parts put together is called the body. And in that, all the parts which include the breath, so windows are there for what? For the air to come in and go. So same way, all the parts are put together in order for the owner of the house to come and live in. So this body is there, and as long as, this is our personal experience also, that as long as the breath is moving within this body, the life is, this is from general point of view, I am not talking from yogic point of view. From a general person's, common man's point of view, as long as the breath is moving in the body, the person is said to be alive. If we close these windows for some time, I remember yesterday I did not open my window because the blowflies were coming in. And when I went in the evening inside my room, it was stinking. Stinking means stink. What do you call it? it's not stench, but
Stuffy.
stuffy smell was there. Huh? Why? The breeze was not able to purify it. Same way, this body, if proper breathing is not done, proper ventilation is not there, this body starts stinking. And what is the proper breathing? You know what proper. The abdominal breathing is the proper breathing. Abdominal means when the stomach comes out, then all the lungs are getting filled up. Otherwise, lot of people I see, they only breathe from the chest. Always holding it inside and always breathing only this part. All different diseases will come because you are not taking in the full scope of the breath in to nourish yourself. So here what they are saying is that not by prana, not by apana does any mortal live, but it is by some other on which these two depend that men live. A common man believes that when the breath goes, the man dies. But we have just seen from the previous 3 verses, that even these pranas are dependent on the conscious principle. And that's why I gave that example of the yogi, that they can control the breath and still live. This time in the Kumbh Mela, someone went under, they dug a hole in the earth next to the Ganga river, and for 14 days he was inside the thing. No breath. He had more or less stopped it. It's a feat, that's all. But he is not dead. But when consciousness leaves the body, pranas cannot stay behind. You cannot say the body is breathing. If you say the person is in coma, well, the consciousness is still there. Consciousness is still there. Brain is not, mind is not there. So the indriyas, the various sense perceptions, the limbs of the body, the mind, the intellect, all are the parts of this thing we call body, and all of them exist only because of the conscious principle which is located or situated or expressing through the heart in the body. And in this way, when this Purusha, this conscious principle leaves, with him the breath leaves, the pranas leave, the apana leaves, and all the faculties one after the other, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, walking, speaking, all of them one by one leave the body, and eventually nothing is left behind except when nothing is left behind, it is the reality. Yes?
If consciousness is everywhere, then how can a little bit of consciousness be in the body to go out of it? And where does it go out of it from anyhow? How can it be so, you know, I always, let me put it this way, I always thought the consciousness was everywhere, but was sort of focused in the brain, using the brain, the senses and everything else. But how can it go out of the body like a funnel or something? Or if it's all consciousness everywhere, how can it leave the body if it's everywhere? I thought it was the body that dropped away.
Electricity is everywhere.
Yeah.
How can a bulb get fused if electricity is everywhere? How can the electric bulb get fused if electricity is everywhere?
I don't know.
Good. When you know the answer, you will know this answer also. How come the radio waves are everywhere, the mobile phone waves are everywhere, but this mobile phone is not able to catch it? How come?
Hasn't got the equipment.
Pardon me?
Hasn't got the equipment to do so.
It has.
It's not connected to its source. It's not connected.
It is. Electricity is everywhere. Take that example, don't take. But if the bulb fuse, why does the bulb fuse if electricity is always there behind it? do we say electricity has left the bulb? We can say that. No problem. We normally don't say. We say the bulb got fused, isn't it? What do we say? The body died. Do we say the consciousness died? Do you say the consciousness died? You always say the body died. The bulb fused. The toaster is gone kaput. You don't say you never blame the electricity for it.
No, it's the body.
Exactly. So when the body is not able to support that consciousness to express through it, then we say the body is dead.
That's what I meant. That's what I said. That's when the mind stops functioning. Consciousness is still there. Consciousness doesn't leave the body.
But that is our experience. This is the contradiction. This is the doubt that we have. That when a person dies, something leaves the body, isn't it? Otherwise, why will you call the person dead? This is what a common man's language is. That is a different matter, that consciousness doesn't live anywhere. Yes, it is everywhere. But when now you take that spider and you kill it, where something has happened, something has changed. Where has the life gone from that spider? Where has it gone? Something has left it. Something has left the spider. Something has left that ant. Something has left that mosquito. What has left the mosquito? No. How can it be? Consciousness is everywhere. Nothing has left the spider. Alright? The sun is shining in the bucket spills. Something has, the reflection of the sun which was in the bucket of water, it has vanished. You can't say, no, sun is everywhere, sun cannot go away. We never said the sun goes anywhere. We said the reflection which was there, which has gone away.
No, but the water's gone away.
Pardon me?
The water's gone away and the sun can't reflect in the bucket.
Correct. Exactly the same thing here. So when we say, in a common man's language, we say, oh, the sun is no longer reflecting, in the bucket of water, or we can say the bucket of water is no longer there, therefore the sun cannot reflect. Whichever way you put it, both ways. Both ways. You don't get confused in these things. Here, what we are talking about is from common man's point of view. You are suddenly taking the absolute point, consciousness is everywhere, and getting confused. Your mind does not know what everywhere means yet, and you are trying to do that. It is not your experience yet. Your experience is that that when the body dies, something will leave the body. The breath will leave the body. The senses will leave the body. And why do they leave? Because that intelligent principle which this body was able to support is now no longer able to support. So that conscious principle, and here in this particular verse, that conscious principle is the conditioned entity, not the infinite reality. Consciousness doesn't need to take another birth. The conditioned, because the question was what happens to the soul after death? So in these verses, in this chapter, how did the chapter begin? With the body of 9 gates, isn't it? So are we talking about this body? Yes. Now if consciousness is everywhere, then why you are talking about the body? It's a foolish argument. If consciousness is everywhere, then why are we talking about body? Now he is taking a completely different train of thought and coming to the same conclusion that, hey, even at your daily interaction level, your daily experience level, or your personal experience level, this body that you call, which is a city of 11 gates, is surviving, is existing only because of the conscious principle expressing within, which is called the life force. And that life force, if it leaves the body, all the senses go along with it. When it leaves the body, all the breath goes along with it, all the elements and the gods, the presiding deities go along with it. And now coming one more level down, if you think that this body is alive only because of the breath, understand, breath is because of the conscious principle. And when he leaves, the breath also leaves. Because for a common man, if I am telling you, I have given you an example that there are Mahatmas, there are yogis who can sit in meditation without breathing for hours together, days together. But you have not come across anyone yet. Have you?
No.
I have. My grandfather. I have read about a few. Every day 3 hours he will be sitting. No heartbeat, no breath. So if your experience is not there, doesn't mean that it is not possible. Now, stopping the breath and stopping the heartbeat is not equal to realization. Stopping the heartbeat and stopping the breath is also not death. Is also not death. So when is death? Only when the conscious principle, the life force leaves the body. If that life force leaves the body, whatever little bit breath is there, as minuscule as it may be, that will also leave with the conscious principle. Breath cannot exist in the body independently without the presence of conscious principle. Agree?
So that explains people who have these near-death experiences where the body is considered clinically dead, no brain waves, and yet that person can be looking at what's happening, their body's on an operating table, then later the body starts to function again. They can.
Just yesterday one of the boys was showing me I don't know, Jaggi Vasudeva, have you heard? One Mahatma is there. He is married and all, and from Tiruvannamalai area, and he travels over the world. And his brain was scanned in Europe or in America somewhere. No brain waves. He says, okay, come do it. And they didn't find one single brain wave. He says, why should I share it with you? Similarly, Swami Rama in America, he was standing giving lectures, and he used to do this many times. He challenged this in America, that till now you talk about so many things, you come, you test, while I am giving lectures there will be no heartbeat. And he is sitting there, and they got all the things around and no heartbeat. Now, we have not experienced these. These are all documented facts. Paramahamsa Yogananda invited all the scientists in America and sat. He says, I am ready to leave my body now, in the middle of the lecture. He says, I am ready to leave the body now, and my body will not disintegrate. Do what you want. For 21 days they kept the body, and then they all washed their hands. We don't know. The body was absolutely fresh, no breaking down. Life force has left the body. But these are not our experiences. So we feel that it is not possible. So here, what is possible for us? What do we accept? What do we believe? That when the breath leaves, the body dies. But there is another way of living. That breath is not there, body can still be living. So the teacher is trying to tell Nachiketa that if consciousness leaves, the body cannot stay behind. It cannot survive. When the consciousness leaves, the pranas have to leave with it. And that point is being made here. That the pranas, the breath, functions in the body only when the life principle is there expressing through the body. If the life principle is not there, the breath cannot express itself. So once and for all, understand this. Clear? Clear? Okay. And do not get lost. From what standpoint we are talking, you understand that first.
The standpoint.
Standpoint is very important.
That's right.
Just beating your beat that consciousness is everywhere, consciousness is everywhere. Yes, consciousness is everywhere. Sun is also everywhere. But does it reflect everywhere? No. Only on that surface which is fine enough, clean enough, which has got the reflective ability, there alone the sun reflects. It does not reflect on this wood, it cannot. It will not reflect on the wall. On the glass it will. Why? Because it is conducive to the reflection. So consciousness is everywhere. It's expressing through this body. Yes, you have found it, but where can you find it? Can you find it in the body? No. Can you find it in the breath? No. Can you find it in the mind? No. We have gone through this. Only in a purified intellect you can catch it. So in this manner, get your thoughts correct, and always the standpoint is important. Here, what is the standpoint? We started this chapter with the body. He has left all the high thinking before. He has done that before. Now he has come down to the body level. From the body he is coming to the sensory level. From the sensory level he is coming to the breath level, and he is telling all the faculties, whether it be the senses, whether it be the thinking, whether it be the breath, all of them are subservient to the conscious principle. If the conscious principle or the life force is not there in the body, these different faculties, they cannot function. They cannot exist. And that's the point that is being made. And now, in the 6th verse, Hantate idam pravakshami guhyam brahma sanatanam yatha cha maranam prapya atma bhavati Gautama. Well, now, O Gautama, I will explain to you the mysterious and ancient Brahman, and also what happens to the soul after death. So till now, what was he doing? He was preparing his mind by different examples. Eta dvaitata, this is that, this is that, this is that. We'll look at this point in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari